Alright, before I get started on my Impact review, yes, I am doing an Impact Wrestling review. I know I haven't done one of these in a while, but before I get started, I just hope y'all had a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, whatever, you know. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and start on my Impact Wrestling review for December 27, 2012. Well, it's the last TNA show of the year, and it's open fight night once again. I do like this open fight night thing that they've had for the last few months, where you can call anybody out you want. And so this show starts off with Bully Ray coming down to the ring, and he's calling Hulk Hogan down to the ring because he wants to talk to him. He doesn't want to fight him, he just wants to talk to him. But we don't get the Hulkster brother, but we do get is Brooke Hogan, his hot 24-year-old daughter. And she comes down there, and she says that her dad isn't there because he knows about their relationship. Well, if anybody knows about marrying a younger woman, it's Hulk Hogan, because you look at Jennifer, and she's a hell of a lot younger than the Hulkster is. And Bully Ray is what about? He's probably a little bit younger than me, and now he's with Brooke, last time I checked, Bully Ray was like 41 years old. Brooke is like 24. So I suppose I can kind of get where the Hulkster is a little apprehensive about Bully Ray being around his daughter, but oh hell, he married somebody younger, so he shouldn't really have any complaints. But anyway, this was a really short segment. I mean, Brooke's just telling Bully Ray that, hey, my dad isn't there and we need to go talk to him. So, really short segment, really kind of strange if you ask me. And while we're still in the opening segment, because they did not go to commercial, you got the greatest man who ever lived coming down to the ring, A-Double himself, Austin Aries. He's calling out Bobby Roode, but it's not for right now because it's because he's the main event. You damn right he is. And that's where this match deserves to be, in the main event. So, another short little segment there before they went to commercial, so I like it. Alright, so the first real match we get is Samoa Joe coming down to the ring, and he calls out one of the members of the Aces and Eights. And one thing I do like about the Aces and Eights and their little spiel is they have their own entrance, if you will. So which means they're not coming out through like the regular entrance that the rest of the TNA roster comes out of. So that's kind of that's really a good thing, I think. But anyway, I don't remember which one it was. It was one of the masked guys. It wasn't Doc. It wasn't Devon. It was just one of the other members. And he said he went to unmask him. Match turned out to be a no contest after he tried to unmask the one member, and the rest of the group came down to go after him, which of course they didn't get to him this time. But anyway, it was a nice little segment. Maybe they'll do something more with it down the line or something. But it was an okay match, I thought. Other than that, so then this might have been one. Well, you could look at this segment one of two ways between Robbie E and Jesse. This is either one of the biggest train wrecks you've ever seen, or maybe you could say it was a halfway decent segment. But I kind of thought it was a big train wreck myself. It was called a bro off. How about more like a douche off? Because you look at Robbie E and you look at Jesse Godderz, and don't they look like two of the biggest douchebags you ever seen in your life? I mean, seriously. Jesse, to me, seems like he really would be a douchebag. I'm not gonna lie, but so they have their little bro off, if you will. And it's just like there's supposed to be 3 rules to a bro off. Every bro for themselves, bro. Everything you do ends in bro. God. Oh man, this is just like who can be a bigger douche? Who can be a bigger douchebag between those two? But right before Robbie E declares himself the winner, we get Robbie T. Robbie T gets involved into this, and I think he was the big winner, if you ask me. Maybe they're gonna split these two off. Maybe they're gonna split Robbie T and Robbie E up. Might be all right. Maybe they'll. They did. If you remember, about a year and a half or so ago, they were kind of giving Rob Terry a little bit of a singles push. I mean, he did have the television title at one time, so maybe they're going down that road again. You never know. Okay, then next you had a little backstage segment with Kenny King and Christian York. And they were just talking about this and that, you know, which kind of led into our Rob Van Dam coming down to the ring and calling out somebody, you know, and King thought for all the world that he was going to call him out for his next challenge, but didn't happen. He called out Christian York, somebody he actually respects. So one thing I will say about Christian York is that somebody in the booking department really likes him, because you look at some of the matches he's had on television. I mean, he had a match with Jeff Hardy where he looked really good. Even in defeat, he looked really good. And then they put him up against Bobby Roode. Yeah, he lost that match too, but he looked good in that match also. So putting him up against RVD, the X Division champion, well, he kind of knew he wasn't going to win this match either, but I thought he looked pretty decent in it, even with no job Rob in there, which he lived up to his name in this one, because hell, he didn't job. He won. He won clean with the 5-star frog splash, so it's going to be interesting to see if is Kenny King going to get a shot at the X Division title? Another one, maybe? I think he deserves one. He deserves to be on television more than he has been ever since he came to TNA from ROH, so I think he needs to be more prominently featured on the show. That's just my opinion. Then they show this Joseph Park training video from, like, at the OVW wrestling camp or whatever you want to call it, with Nightmare Danny Davis, who's training him. And one thing that they're really having you believe is that Joseph Park is that he just isn't getting it, and just making him look like that he just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing in a wrestling school. Well, I think he's just really playing him for a fool, because they showed that clip last week from when he was doing a little bit of training, and he got his nose bloodied by one of the younger wrestlers there that he was sparring with. You could see it best right there. Well, basically, because that's who it is, but he mowed him down with that clothesline, and then he got him with the black hole slam. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see where they're going to go with this and that kind of thing. But it's actually a pretty good segment, I think. And after that, they showed this about 3 or 4 times during the show. The 1-3-1-3 next Thursday night. The Stinger comes back to TNA to take out the Aces and Eights, because it's going to be showtime, folks! Okay, next you got Christopher Daniels coming out of the ring, and who does he call out but AJ Styles? I'll admit, when I first saw this, I'm just thinking, oh my god, we don't need to fucking see this again. Not for the 116th time, damn it. But, oh, how wrong we were, because even though we got AJ's pyro and everything, he got his entrance. We don't get AJ this time. But what we did get was Frankie Kazarian, and God, this is the highlight of the show for me. Because Kazarian did all of AJ's moves when he comes in the ring and all that stuff. He really even sounded like him a lot. And Daniels was interviewing him more or less. Maybe not so much interviewing, but just talking to him, and Kazarian is just talking like AJ, like I can't beat you, man. I mean, you're better looking than me, you're smarter than me, you wrestle better than me. I'm just a hick redneck from Gainesville, Georgia. But anyway, what this segment turned into was a tag team match between Daniels and Kazarian against the World Tag Team Champions. Not of the world, because that's Daniels and Kazarian when they are the champions, but it was Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez, which is actually a good match. Yeah, it's excuse me. Well, they've wrestled a couple times before, but this was really a good match. Chavo and Hernandez ended up going over, but I thought it was a good match myself, and then this segment was the highlight of the show for me. Alright, then you get another segment with Aces and Eights, but this time they're talking to Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, who hasn't been on TV in, like, God knows how long. But, you think about it, I don't think Mr. Anderson would really fit very well in this group, because, I mean, really, he's too much of an individual. And he's an asshole! So, excuse me. Maybe in that sense you might think he might fit in with them, but he's an individual asshole. So I don't know where they're gonna go with us or not. But if they're gonna go that way, or maybe they're gonna end up having AJ Styles on the group or something, since he basically washed his hands of TNA. So next you get a really decent knockout match between Gail Kim, who comes down to the ring and calls out the woman who beat her for the title when she was the knockout champion, Miss Tessmacher. And I've mentioned this before on Impact Reviews, and I think it bears repeating, that when you see knockout matches on TNA, where in comparison to the Divas matches that you see on WWE, at least the knockout matches on Impact, at least they get a little bit of time. And the knockouts in TNA can actually fucking wrestle. They don't just look good. Yeah, but anyway, they got a little bit of time. Gail Kim she's got a little bit of a measure of revenge from Tessmacher after Tessmacher missed an elbow drop off the top rope, and she subsequently ate defeat. And that's what she did. Alright, then you got the main event. And Jesse the Body Ventura once coined the phrase, "Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat." And that fit this match to an absolute T. Because I'll tell you what, this match between A-Double and Bobby Roode, the It Factor, there was no honor amongst thieves in this match, let me tell you. They pretty much threw out the rule book in this one. I mean, they were just doing this, that, and the other thing. But afterwards, Jeff Hardy ended up coming out there and nailing them both with the double clothesline, and ended up hitting Bobby Roode with the twist of fate, and that's basically the end of your show. But I'll tell you what, that was a good segment in itself too. Well, final thoughts on this show. Well, next week, the first Impact of 2013. You're going to see a steel cage match between two of the members of the Ace and Eights against Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe. That should be pretty interesting. Then you got the return of the Stinger going after Ace and Eights, one would presume. Then what's going to happen with this Brooke Hogan Bully Ray thing with the Hulkster? What's going to happen there? I'd be interested to see if they actually do give Robbie T a push, get him away from Robbie E, because Robbie T shouldn't be around that douchebag. So anyway, this is Marvelous Mark signing off from the Off the Rope show, and I'd like to wish you guys a happy New Year and a very good 2013. See you later.